It's so easy in the winter to stay inside and do less riding, but if you can get out and can do those miles, you're going to be in a far better position fitness wise come the spring. So as you can see, autumn is well and truly here. And it's not going to be long before winter arrives. It's very easy during winter to put your bike in the garage and either leave cycling for the winter or go on the turbo inside, go on the trainer and get some good quality miles in. But you are missing out on probably those long steady base miles, the traditional way of building fitness in the winter. And I personally find it very hard to do over 2 hours on a trainer, whereas outside 2 or 3 hours goes past relatively quickly, and even in the winter it can be enjoyable. In this video we're going to look at ways of making winter riding more successful. Now the first and most obvious way is to make sure your bike, whether it's your only bike or your winter bike, is ready for the winter, fully serviced, maybe having mud guards or fenders attached, and maybe winter tyres, something that's not going to let you down mechanically through the winter. And the next thing to do is to make sure you've got a good winter wardrobe of clothing that again isn't going to let you down, and you can't blame your riding on that. Long tights, decent quality, windproof maybe, gilet, various other bits of kit you can get, including of course a waterproof jacket. It's all going to make riding in the winter much more pleasant and doable if you've layered up and you're ready for all eventualities clothing wise. The thing you can do if it's really cold is to make sure you've got a buff or snood or neck scarf or whatever you want to call it, so that you can put it up over your face if it's really cold and warm the air before it gets into your nose and lungs. It's very easy in the winter to be breathing in freezing cold air, which isn't really going to do you much good. So make sure you've got one of those buffs to keep out the coldest of the air. Another thing that's likely to make your winter riding more successful is eating lots of immune boosting foods. Your immune system really takes a hit in the winter, and even after riding your immune system takes a hit, so make sure you're eating lots of good quality fruit, veg, lots of colours, and maybe even looking at supplements like vitamin D to help you through the winter period. Another thing that's quite useful to do, I think, or I find before and after riding in the winter, is just to do a bit of stretching and activation before, just to get your muscles sort of warmed up and primed before you get outside in the cold. And whether that's just doing some gentle stretching or doing some band work, which I tend to do just to get my hips and glutes and things like that fired up. As I said, it's a useful way to warm up before you get out when it's cold. And actually, if you raise your temperature a bit, like just doing some press ups or something before you go out, I always find that's a good way, because you're starting the ride a little bit warmer to start off with. Another thing you can do or not do in the winter when there's more colds and things about is sort of shake hands and things like that. It might seem very antisocial, but when there are loads of bugs around, it's important to try to keep yourself as bug free as possible. So maybe avoiding shaking hands or avoiding touching things that lots of other people have touched, or using a hand gel to sanitize is a good way to try to avoid getting those winter colds and worse. Another thing to avoid in the winter is excessive drinking. Try to limit the amount of alcohol you take, because again that affects your immune system and leads to worse sleep and those sorts of things, which again doesn't do your fitness any good. And lastly, of course, with winter cycling is be seen and be safe. So wear bright clothing if you can, and I always have a daytime running light and obviously a front light if you need it too. But with those dark nights and twilight you're often finding yourself riding through, it's really a much better idea to make sure you're well lit. And if you can, it is much better for your fitness to keep riding through the winter. It's so easy in the winter to find your fitness really dropping because you don't keep up those winter miles. And if you can keep up those winter miles and keep up the sort of volume you're doing, you'll find you're in a much better place in the spring to keep your fitness going on an upward trend. So I hope you found those tips useful. I'm sure you do lots of things like those already. And if you've got any tips for winter riding, don't forget to drop those in the comments too. Till next time, bye for now.